recent newborn picture I took. No judging on the outfit. Mom brought it, and it will not be going in my portfolio, but it's a good picture for me to show you what I use as far as the tools I mentioned. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the content aware tool. So you'll see there's this portion of the photo here where my backdrop doesn't quite go over it. And then there's this little piece of something here. So I want to delete those, and you can clone and whatever if you want, but there's this nifty tool called Content Aware, and it's right here next to your spot and healing brush and all that good stuff, and it's Content Aware. You literally circle around what you want to change. So just circle this little area here. And then I press the delete key, and I make sure it says Content Aware. Once you do this the first time, it'll default to that, and then press OK. And voila, it fills it in for you. So I can do another one here. And most of the time it will even retain the correct, I didn't really like how that filled in, so we'll try that one again. Most of the time it will even retain the correct depth of field. I also have these just like wrinkles here. I can kind of see if I can delete those too. That worked. Anyway, it's a really cool tool. I also don't like how these lines go across exactly the same throughout the whole thing, so I can just take a few of these out. Again, I'm just circling them and hitting delete and then enter. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. So that is Content Aware. Now, for Puppet Warp, newborn photographers especially use this for two things. Well, really for one main thing, is the bum up pose, which is this pose here. So you'll notice I didn't quite bump her feet up enough here. In a typical newborn pose, you really want the feet to be bumped up more. You can't see the knee here, but you want it to be kind of more compressed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this layer, the background layer, Command J, and then I'm going to go to Edit, Puppet Warp. And the first thing it comes up with is this little like pin, right? So I'm going to click around places I don't want it to move. So I don't want her head to be moved at all. Like I want her head to stay in the same area. So once I get kind of a circle around her head, then I click and hold my mouse button while I drag her bottom a little further up. Now something you gotta be aware of is, look, you could like move her spine. You don't want her spine to be all long. So when I drag, I go in as well. And this is one of those ones you can easily overdo. So it's best, because you got to watch the curve in a newborn's back. So like it's not going to, a newborn's back doesn't curve like this. Like it just doesn't. So you got to kind of watch and make it kind of look a little natural. So let me see where I was. Okay, so here's where I was, the original. So I'm going to just kind of go right about like that. And then press enter. And it'll automatically put you right there. So you can see there's before and after. So there's two things I don't like about this. Number one, it has, so I'm going to flatten that. It has brought back another Content Aware issue because it moves the background and it tries to mimic it, but it doesn't quite ever get there. So I have to use my Content Aware tool, which is wonderful, to delete that little area. And then sometimes it'll create a kind of a bump in their back that's not really natural. So then what I do there is I use the Liquify tool. And again, I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go to Filter, Liquify. This is also great for people that have extra flab, like when people want, people say, oh, take 10 pounds off me. This is how photographers do it. So I'm going to start this first one, which is just, it's like a push tool, forward warp. And then I click and drag on these areas that I want to push in. And again, this is another one you have to be kind of careful with because you see it's pulling your background a little bit. This background is not as big a deal because I have a pretty good depth of field here, but I don't want it to pull my background so much that it looks unnatural. So then there's also another one I use often here, this third one, which is kind of a pucker tool. So if like someone has a little bit of pudge or something, you like push it and hold it and see how it's like puckering all that in there. So if you have like a little bit of pudge here, like for the cheek, for example, see how obviously you wouldn't want to do this on a baby because pudge is good on a baby, but like moms that maybe have a little too much belly, maybe they wore a little bit too tight of a shirt, you can just kind of push it in there and see how it kind of deflated her cheek there a little bit. Anyway, so I'm going to press OK, and so this is before Liquify, after Liquify, before Liquify, after. So there you go. Those are the 3 tools that are some of my favorites to use. I hope this helped.